Dr. Mike is an international expert in stem cells, wellness, and anti-aging, and he is with us today from Hong Kong, also the founder of the European Wellness Biomedical Group. And great to have you back and to talk about this. It's such an important topic. Let's start with age reversal, age defying, longevity. What work are you doing in that area, and what kind of results are you seeing?
Now, I've been in the field for the last 40 years and I'm 63. My hair is still all black. I don't even have much gray hair for that matters. I have a hard time looking for gray hair. I believe there's a lot of ways we must all live long. But living long without a quality life is useless. So I will always say you must do a reversal of age. That means you must do a reversal of the organ's age, which is the lifespan of the organ. And also, in other words, what is inside the organ? We have 78 organs in the body. You have all the cells in the body and the stem cells. You have 700 over different types of stem cells and cells inside the 78 organs of yours. For example, the brain itself has 67 different types of brain cells. So when you want to talk about brain, you have to look into which part of the brain there is an impairment, there's something to be, there's a damage there, and we have to treat that particular part. You have to give brain-specific stem cells for brain disorder. And you have to give organ-specific stem cells for organ, which part of the organ. Different parts of the organ requires different types of cells. So when I say age reversal means, I'm trying to tell you that we can all reverse our age, our biological age. It's no point to just look at chronological age, our age where we are born, but biological age, the age of our organ, the age of our proteins of our cells. When you're younger, you have a younger protein, you have a younger cells. So by looking at the proteins, which is the cell or the age of the cells of the organs, or the biological age of all the organs added up, that is more important. So when I say I'm 63, I just did a blood test of my protein test. I call it the glycan test, and I did other tests too. And I found out that my biological age is 46. That means I'm 17 years younger than my chronological age, and that is a good sign. So a lot of my patients all over the world, we have treated thousands and thousands of them across our 46 centers all over the world, including hospitals for anti-aging. I sincerely think we can do reversal of age, the age of our organ, by, I would say, 8 to even 16 years these days with new technology. Number two, reversing the age of the organs means the organs become younger so they can function better. It's like the parts, the components of the engine of the car. When the car is moving too much, there's a certain time it will have a breakdown because the parts need to be changed. But in the case of human being, it's difficult to change the parts. Your heart is not easy to change, your kidney, your liver, your brain. So we must make sure the lifespan of all our organs, they must have a reversal. But please to understand, we all age the moment we are born. The spine of your body start to age at 11. The eyes of you start to age at 40. The heart start to age at 40. By the age of 70, your heart is only 50% the function of a 30-year-old. The lungs start to age at 20. Oh, wow. So when you talk about stamina, the lungs at 20 and the heart at 40, how are you going to have all the stamina in the world? So when we talk about sportsmen, you come to realize stamina will all drops. What about our muscles? We again go down by 30. So there's so many other organs which have a lifespan of 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. The oldest is the liver at 75. That's why a number of us drink, we are still able to regenerate because the liver can regenerate to a certain extent. But when you talk about conventional doctors in medicine who say the heart is not regenerative, the kidney is not regenerative. When there's a tissue damage, when the organs is damaged, that means there's no solution. You probably have to do it for a transplant. But as far as in our situation where we learned from the Soviets in the 80s, we learned from the Germans, we learned from the Swiss. I spent 30 over years of my life in Europe learning the field of age reversal by way of reversing the age of the lifespan of the organs. I will always say, as long as you have living tissues, even if they are dying tissues, they're still living, you can repair the dying tissues of every cells, then you can reverse the age of the organs. So this is our experience of treating. So I will always say lifespan, longevity depends on the health span, the quality life in all of us. It's no point to live to 120 years old when you're lying in the bed for the last 40 years.
Right.
So you must have a long lifespan.
Right.
Okay.
But
and we all know the average person, you live around 80. That means you only have around 28,000 to 30,000 days of your life. Days of your life. Every day is important. So why don't we extend longer beyond the 30,000? And why don't we also have a quality life beyond what we are? The quality life in all of us normally will end around 70 or slightly above 70. Yeah. When we are in our 80s and 90s, we may not have a quality life. So what I'm trying to say is, let's extend the quality life to a longer life. We can do anything we want. We have all the mobility. We have a sharper brain still in 90s. Why not? So I will always say the brain is important. The timeline of the brain is 60 to 70. Your brain cells, 66 of them start to age at 20. While the frontal lobe, the only brain cells in your body, will only start to be developed by the age of 25. So there is a solution to be much sharper, much fitter, much healthier, much younger, and desirable at any one age you are. That is important.
Now you're talking about the brain. So let's introduce the work that you do with Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, the neurodegenerative diseases. So those can be, you believe, reversed, prevented?
Yes. Yes, I sincerely think so. There are 52 lobes in our brain. My favorite subject is the brain because I'm so afraid that I will also be a patient of dementia, which will come to most of us as we age. Like I say, the timeline of our brain is 60 to 70. So in other words, after 40, I always say you will have a loss of 10,000 neurons from your body. After 40, your memory fades a lot. It goes down a lot. Sometimes you look at the person, you remember his face, but you can't remember his name. Okay, because the whole parts of the brain is shrinking. All the organs in our body is shrinking, but when the brain shrink, all the parts in the organs are shrinking. That means there's lesser connection among the brain. So for drinkers, if they're after 60, the brain will shrink 30% faster. So when the brain shrink, we have lesser function. So when we talk about dementia, which is part of aging, it will come to all of us. And we call it part of neurodegenerative because neuro is the brain and is degenerating. We must do something here. What is more important for all of us? A sharp brain as we age. You are as young as your brain. So the only way to do the repair of the brain is to stimulate the existing cells in the brain, to repair the dying cells, and to do some replacements of the brain cells. So when we talk about Parkinson, there's some missing parts of the brain is gone. The substantia nigra, which is to produce the dopamine, is gone. And certain parts of the brain may not be functioning well. Example, the hippocampus or the cerebellum on the movement or on the memory. In the case of Alzheimer's, all these can be gone. So what we have to do is we have to do the replacement. And the dying cells in the brain, we must repair them. Because when we say dying, they will die over time. So if you can make the dying cells and make them regenerative, we will regenerate the whole brain, the different parts of the brain, and then they'll have wonderful results. This applies the same for Alzheimer's patient. This applies for all kinds of neuro disorder. So again, with Alzheimer's, it's a loss of memory. You know, you start to lose memory. You start forgetting. So the hippocampus for long storage of the brain is important, but the temporally focus, which is from the frontal lobe, is missing, is lacking. So again, we must do the replacement. I love to do the brain. We have done a lot of research on the brain, and we work with Heidelberg University, a few of my colleagues from MIT and other, even in the California University, in Ivan, we are doing something there. We work with the Japanese, we work with the Chinese, we work with most of the top scientists of the world when it comes to the brain. On my side, I supplement myself to make sure I have a good brain. Now, what is the best supplements for your brain, Dan? The best thing for your brain is still the brain cells of that brain. So when we say substantia nigra for a Parkinson patient, that would be the best supplements for the brain. Of course, you can also give the cells of the brain, but the stem cells of the brain would be better than the cells of the brain, it will be better than the peptides of the brain or the exosomes of the brain. And again, of course, there are other supplements in our daily life. Walnut, which look like your brain, is good for your brain. It looks like a brain, so it's the real brain food. Of course, there's so many other things. Still, we must complement ourselves, supplement ourselves with brain extracts. Again, why it is working for all these patients? Because we will ask many of the conventional doctors in the world, they will say, sorry, the brain cannot be regenerated. You know, what's that is that. Now, as long as I'm concerned, if they are living tissues, we can still replace, do the stimulation, do the replacement, and you will work good. But you must give the right type of the brain, because I'm talking about 52 parts, lobes, and I'm talking about 67 different types of brain cells. So in this case, look at the MRI of the patient, look at the pathological tests of the patients for the body, because all the organs are important apart from the brain. Give all those parts specific organ cells or stem cells, and also for the brain cells. And you will work wonderfully well. This is my experience in treating Parkinson and Alzheimer's patients for a long, long time. And this is our daily process where we deal with 80,000 doctors across the world as a manufacturer and as an educator, but we ourselves are running 40 over centers across the world.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
I want to talk about your centers here in a second, but while we're talking about the brain, what about things like cerebral palsy, autism? Can those also be treated?
Yes. In the same way we are talking about neurodegenerative, this is neurodevelopmental. So what we have here, you have autism, you have cerebral palsy, your global developmental delay where children have lesser IQ, they grow lesser than the normal children. You know, everything is affected. Now, when we talk about IQ, okay, or we talk about focusing, everything is in the frontal lobe. And remember, I say the frontal lobe is only fully developed by the age of 24 to 25. So we can still do the supplementation of the frontal lobe for autistic patients. Because autistic children do not have focus. They don't focus. They don't have eye contact most of the time. And a lot of them has different spectrum. Every children has a different spectrum. We have written 2 books on autism in our life, and we are still continuing with a lot of research on autism. We work with top university of the world. And I, myself, together with my team of doctors, have done a peer review publication on autism itself. I do not have any problem treating autistic children in my life with my experience. The earlier we treat them, the better is the results. Now, what about Down syndrome children? Again, it's the IQ problem. Now, your brain, the facial of a person already show the IQ of a person. If you look at Down syndrome, they have a very Mongolian features. Now, they will be improving each time you give the right type of brain cells or brain-specific type of stem cells not to be injected into the brain. It can be deep intramuscular into the buttock. There's a homing effect, which has been proven by Professor Buber Gantel, American-German doctor in 1999, who won a Nobel Prize. But 90 years before this, there was another Alexis Carrel, 90 years before, you know, who also through another doctors called Halsted. They have already proven it 90 years ago that they are signaling with the cells. Every cell has a home address. Every cell has a different molecules, different amino acid, different proteins. So if you give the right organs with the specific proteins, specific amino acid and molecules, it will work well. So what I'm trying to tell you is all the 700 over different types of cells in your body, all the different organ cells or tissue cells, there are 8 tissue cells in the body, you must give the right specific one. Because everyone have a different characteristic and different attributes, you know, that is important to treat. Yes.
So you're really working at the cellular level. This is where your solutions come from. This is the most basic level of the body. That's how you're able to achieve what you're doing. Cellular level.
Yes, right? Yes. Yeah. You must work at the cellular level because everything is in the cellular. If you look at the stem cells or the organs itself, the system of the whole human being, there are 12 systems. What is inside this system? The 78 organs, okay, and tissue. But what is inside all this? The cells and the tissues. So when you work and treat the organs, you must go into the cellular level and treat the cells. And you give the stem cells to work better. The stem cells will always work better than the cells because as a human being, you're born with 37.2 trillions of live cells. There is one stem cells over 10,000 live cells. We all have stem cells in the body. It's just that we age at quite a fast speed that by the age of 18, you only have 45% left of your stem cells. By the age of 30, you only have 25%. By the age of 60, you only have 5% left of your stem cells. And again, I say when you die, it's because you don't have stem cells in the body. So you better make sure you have a large number of stem cells in your body, different type of stem cells. And I say you have 700 over different types of stem cells over your 78 organs. Every organs will have stem cells and cells. The liver itself has 75 different types of stem cells. The pancreas itself has 13 different types of cells. When we want to treat diabetes, then we have to talk about giving the islet cells. These will be the 4 different or 5 different types of cells in the pancreas where we have to do the isolation and treat the diabetes. And it will work wonderfully well for type 1 and type 2 too. Yeah. This is our analysis and experience over the years where we learn from everyone.
Fascinating. Yeah. So you mentioned diabetes. So chronic diseases, your method works as well. So like diabetes, kidney disease. What about heart disease?
Of course. What you have in the heart, I work with a lot of cardiologists in the world, you know. A lot of cardiologists came to me, they say, Mike, I'm a cardiologist, I'm a top cardiologist, you know, and I myself is having a heart problem. And I've been treating patients even with open heart surgery. I put the mesenchymal cells, which are the tissue cells. It seems that they may not have the results of what I was expecting, although I give the stem cells. So I told the cardiologist, what you need for your heart is the cardiomyoblast. Okay, and I say your heart start to age at 40. By the age of 70, it's 50% of a 30-year-old. But this is for a normal person. A lot of us may even have it earlier, a much weaker heart. Okay, without the heart, you will not have the stamina together with the lungs and the adrenals. So when you treat the heart, give the cardiomyoblast together with the mesenchymal cells. The mesenchymal cells are tissue cells. They are not parenchymal organ cells. So they will do only the stimulation of the heart. They will not do the regeneration of the heart. When we want to talk about regeneration, the word regeneration or regenerative medicine means you must regenerate every organ. You must go into the nucleus of the cells. Without going into the nucleus of the cell, by just stimulating the membrane of the cells, it will not deliver the right results. We do not want a temporary stimulation of every organ. We want a stimulation of organ. At the same time, we must go into the nucleus and treat the cells. And that is the right way to treat. So the problem is most of us only realize a number of the physicians or most of the people around relying on the physician, they will only use 1 or 2 types of stem cells to treat a patient. I do not believe in that. I do not believe by just giving mesenchymal cells or other types of tissue cells just to treat a patient because they have an organ problem. Then you need the parenchymal organ cells. If we are talking about reversal of age, all of us after 40, you know, we will have some form of disorder with our organs because every organ have a lifespan. So again, when we want to treat a person to make him younger, healthier, fitter, obviously a number of organs is aging. So you have to look into every organ, look at the pathological test of the lab work or the blood test of the patient, look at all the current situation and do the prescription of the cells or protocol for every particular organs because all the organs are affected. And there will be a traffic jam, a breakdown with one organ affecting the rest of the organ. They are relying on each other. Again, with the brain. So when someone say, I need to be younger, what are the cells to be given? I probably have to give you the brain cells. I need to give you the pituitary, which is a master gland, to send a message to the adrenals. So I had to give you the adrenals. I need to give you the liver, who I had to use to do the metabolization of the hormones. I have probably, if you have a weak lung, I have to give you the lung. I have to give you the immune system to boost up. I probably have to give you the thymus, which go with the spleen. And then I'm 70 or 60. I want to have some better power for me as a man, you know. So I probably need the testes. You see, I'm losing hormones. After 40, every one of us is losing 1 to 2% of hormones. So we need the muscles, and the muscle is losing, and the testes has to produce the muscle in the case of the man. So what about women who's having menopause? You know, she's also aging at a very fast speed because after menopause, every woman will age 30% faster. So we must do the reversal of aging. So there's so many things we have to think of, and we have to target every organs affected and not just There's never a situation of one stem cell treating all the problems.
Got it.
There's never a situation of A cells to treat A to Z. Neither do we have it in stem cells or in cells or any other supplements in the world. If someone say have a super supplements, it cure everything. There's never a situation like this because like I say, you need a different proteins, different amino acid, and different molecules. So a A1 will be only for A1. A B1 will be for B1. B1. A Z10, a Z10 will be for Z10. So you have different types and 700 over different types of them.
Yeah,
that is the way to treat. Yes, I call it precision in stem cell research, precision in medicine.
Yeah.
You throw all the 10 darts into the dartboard, all of them hit the bullseye. You have the full 50 points for each dart. So 10 darts will be 500 points. And not just to throw the dart, it hit all over the place. Then you will never have the full 500 points. So I always believe we must do a proper diagnosis of a patient by looking into all the studies of the patient, by looking at the lab work, do a proper diagnosis, and then you start to give the right way to treat. You must do the detoxification of the body. You must do the repair. Then you do the regeneration of the cells. So I call them the DDRR, diagnose, detox, repair, and regenerate. The problem in the market is some people will just give you the stem cell and regenerate. And the problem is, again, the stem cell wasn't given the right type of stem cell. It didn't regenerate the whole body. It only do a stimulation of the whole body because non-specific cells are given. You must have specific cells to be given.
Got it. So how can somebody find out more about what you do, the European Wellness Centers? Where can they go to get more information and do some research?
Now, I sincerely think there's a lot of information with the website european-wellness.com.
Okay.
Or european-wellness.eu. A lot of information are there. I put all my life into educations. I believe I've done more than 1,000 appearances in medical and scientific conferences around the world. I attend at least 30 to 50. And for the last 40 years, I've been doing that. I travel to all parts of the world. I go to all parts of the world solely for education because I dedicated my passion together with my wife in this field of 42 years. You know, we are together. We come to realize there's a lot of things we still have to learn in life. Life is a changing process every day in medicine and science. I believe all the scientists of the world and all the doctors of the world, all the top of them, they still have to learn every day because science is changing just like a cell phone. You're changing your cell phone every few months. Why? Because all the new technology are coming. There's no way that we can retire for the rest of the life because your brain needs to work at least 2 hours a day. Just like the heart, you need to exercise. Your brain to need to do some critical thinking or you will age much faster. So coming back to the question on diabetes, type 1 and type 2, again, we have to think of different ways to treat. And this day you have type 3 and type 4 too. When you talk about type 1, it's autoimmune. So we have to also look into another way. It's not just by the stem cell to treat the autoimmune. We must have another way where we call it the autologous active specific immunotherapy. We have done 10 publications on this for autoimmune. Cancer itself is autoimmune. Psoriasis itself is autoimmune. There are also many thousands of autoimmune diseases. So that is part of bioregenerative medicine. So in terms of type 2 or even type 3 and 4, all these type of diabetes, they have a problem with the pancreas. So we have to isolate the islet cells from the pancreas. We could be the alpha, beta, delta, and exocrine pancreas cells from the pancreas, and we treat the patient with the islet cells. That will give the best result. And we have done a few publications with University of Iowa in California on this. And we have done it many times treating diabetes patients with wonderful results. I just met up someone from the military hospital of China who came here today, and yesterday, and he is saying, we are one of the top scientists treating diabetes, but we don't have success with stem cells. I say yes, because if you don't give the islet cells, you will never have the success. But again, with diabetic patient, what is the end game of all diabetic patients? Is a kidney transplant. So we have to take care of the kidney. The kidney start to age at 50 to 55. What about the stomach? What about the liver? They are also affected, and the heart too. So in other words, by looking at a diabetic patient, we have to look at the lab work, and we have to treat accordingly all the organs. But for sure, we have to give the islet cells, and probably you have to give the kidney cells to protect the kidney from further damage. Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, it is always fascinating to talk to you and to hear about the research that you've done on all of this. And best of luck and Look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much,
I'll
Dr.
give everything I can for the world. What is more important for us? To heal the world and enrich life.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.